Don't let Ayaan Hirsi Ali's soft voice fool you. She is a fierce woman of God. She has been on many platforms and she does not hesitate to share her faith, regardless of the opponent she's in front of. She's been in front of staunch atheists and she still shares her faith in Jesus. But that's not the biggest reason why Ayaan Hirsi Ali impresses me. She inspires me because she has tapped into a level of peace that many people are trying to get, but they can't seem to attain it because they're looking for that peace through worldly things. And as Jordan Peterson delves into this very topic with her, asking her how she navigated that, Ayan's comments are so insightful, they're going to leave you absolutely inspired.
Now, for a long while, in my understanding, after you moved to the West and you became more acutely aware of the advantages of free discourse and of the tyrannical aspect of the philosophical milieu that you'd been raised in, you were an admirer of the West, but also attracted towards the more atheistic philosophy, let's say, that was put forth by Dawkins and Harris and Hitchens and the horsemen of the atheist movement. And so, do you want to walk us through that a little bit, if you would?
And before that, I had read Jonathan Israel. We don't have much time, and I don't want to make a caricature of this, of what I believe is a very important, if not the most important aspect of the restoration is the roots, to seek the roots. I say Christian, sometimes we say Judeo-Christian roots of what has made, the foundations on which these societies are built.
Yeah, well, we'll take the time. I'm not going to rush you, for sure. I'd like to let this unfold because it's crucially important.
Yeah. On the personal side, as I have told it a few times, and it's very, very personal, I have had my own awakening that has to do with my mental breakdown, depression, anxiety, all of these things, the meaning and purpose of life, and not finding, I just couldn't find it. I didn't find it in the material world. And to give you an example, if you think of someone like me who comes from, I grew up in a childhood where there was very little. Little of everything, little food, little water, no water. I mean, we didn't have running water. Scarcity. There were people who were poorer than us, but we were poor. I remember books. I loved books, and they weren't books. So, sometimes I would finish a book that I borrowed or that we borrowed from the library, and the last few pages, which is where the resolution of the story is, would have fallen out of that book. And I would go to a bookshop, pretend I was buying the book, actually read the last pages in the bookshop, and then leave until our Indian booksellers noticed what we were doing and chased us out of the... So that level of poverty. And so then I come where there is plenty. And I find myself in my 40s and 50s surrounded by absolutely everything, materially completely satiated. Happily married, 2 children, everything that you would describe would give meaning and purpose. And yet there I was completely, depressed and unhappy and terrified and all the rest of it. And I was self-medicating. I was self-medicating with wine, with alcohol, and that was where my go-to was. That actually brought me on the brink of destruction. And I sought help, and the help went from, obviously, with me focusing on the material again, scientific help. I'm going to see people who I trust to be the professionals who will fix me and fix this need. And that didn't happen. They were good people. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the human brain, the human psyche. I respect, and I'm still a huge admirer of some of the people that I saw. But the one person who made a change was, you're looking in the wrong places. Her diagnosis was, what you're going through is it's spiritual bankruptcy. And once in my sort of last moment of despair, when I allowed that to come in and to register, and I surrendered to that, it's only after that, literally on my knees in prayer, that things started to change. And so on a personal level, and this is extremely subjective, I'm not imposing it on anyone else, I have undergone this change that has transformed my life. If you allow me to go a little bit beyond, it is when I look around and talk to the same people who are in the same boat as I am, as I was, the stories we share are stories of this abiding success over many years. And it's the people who went down the path of spirituality to fix what it was, that bottomless void, the cravings, the endless thoughts that colonize your head and never go away. So again, this isn't a statistical, empirical study. This is purely anecdotal. I see people who keep on failing. I see people who I think have some success, and I look at them, and it's the ones who went down that spiritual path. And when I say that, when I say spiritual path, I'm not saying it's Christianity or any other faith or organized faith. It's just, for some people, it's Buddhism. For some people, it's mindfulness and
like Harris, for example.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't really talked to Sam Harris about his spiritual welfare, but
I've talked to him a bunch about it, and it's clear that Sam has found in the realm of something approximating an ineffable and non-articulate Buddhism, the spiritual succor that materialist atheism lacks. And I think the reason that Sam was attracted to the more abstract religious domains of experience, the ones that aren't articulated into a creed, which is something he really still rejects, is because Sam knows perfectly well that if the transcendent that he's making contact with through his meditative practice was transformed into a creed, that his ravenous Luciferian intellect would just shred it in a moment, and he'd be right back where he started. This is also why I think, Ayan, like if you look on the Christian revival side of things, that the Christian denominations that are growing most rapidly aren't the more explicit Protestant formulations. They're the really conservative branches like Orthodox Christianity and even Latin Mass Catholicism, because those religious practices are so densely embedded in the ritual and the ceremonial that they're almost impervious to rational critique, right? Because you can't criticize a hymn. You can't criticize a beautiful building. Like, they speak for themselves. And so let me ask you a personal question. If you're
I want to comment
to
on Sam, and see,
Yeah.
I think Sam is he's just got this commitment to the pursuit of truth. And so I haven't spoken to him since my conversion, and I'm going to make I've been very busy. I know he's also very, very busy, but I would be really fascinated to have a conversation with him about it, because
yes, that's necessary.
He is just so committed to it. And so when we talk about these different levels of consciousness and different levels and planes of perception, I am so curious to know what he thinks of that, what he would say about that. I've spoken to Richard. Richard is also another pursuer of truth. And I think in many ways that's why Richard has come to the conclusion that he is a cultural Christian, and that Christianity has a value in that sense. But again, I really do want to separate these two things where I'm still at heart a classical liberal, in the sense I really do want to respect people's conscience and people's perceptions and the way people live. And so I'm in no way imposing anything, saying, I've gone through this terrible experience and I've come out of it, and now, heavens, everybody has to come to Christianity. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in my work, in the realm of ideas, and in this quest to understand subversion, who is subverting us, and all of this, Christianity is one of probably the most important idea for us to grasp. Even if I were an atheist, I would say that. The most important ideas to grasp, because it takes us to the roots of our civilization. And if you want to reject parts of it, that's okay. But I think the wholesale rejection of Christianity and its legacy is precisely what brought us where we are.
Ayaan Hirsi Ali's journey and story is truly amazing. It's inspiring. It's unique, but it's not so unique in the sense that so many people are struggling to find purpose, to find peace, trying to navigate life and navigate the hardships they are dealing with. And so many people are looking toward secular means of therapy. So she points to the fact that she was at her wit's end in depression. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else worked. She tried everything. And many people have tried everything. Many people have tried so many different avenues to try to find peace. And there's only one way to that peace. And that is through Jesus Christ, which is the polar opposite of Islam. You see, many people think if I find Allah, I will find peace, because, Islam is a religion of peace, correct? But once you become a Muslim, you quickly realize it's the opposite of peace. It's actually stressful, a lot of anxiety. You have to do all these things. You have to pray, you have to give, you have to make a trip to Mecca, you have to do all these things, and you still don't know if you've done enough. It's a works-based religion. There's no grace. And I appreciate Jordan Peterson for platforming Ayaan Hirsi Ali and allowing her to speak her mind and share her thoughts and perspectives on her journey. But this is also a good opportunity for Jordan Peterson to continue hearing why Christianity has such a positive impact on the world. And perhaps this is going to just continue to push Jordan Peterson closer to Jesus Christ, closer to being a fully fledged Christian. I don't know if he's there yet. He still has some intellectual hurdles, but Jordan Peterson is doing the right thing by platforming people like Ayaan Hirsi Ali and many others on his platform and listening open-mindedly to the gospel, which is an absolute win for Jordan Peterson. Ayaan Hirsi Ali shows us that you don't always have to be bold and boisterous to make your point. She is soft-spoken, gentle. She's a lion that doesn't want to bite you. She just wants to warm you with her fur. She is one of those types. And that just shows us that you can be impactful even with a gentle personality and spirit. Don't let that stop you from impacting and influencing people in your life. Don't let your personality, even if it's a little mild, stop you from being an impactful person. Trust God, speak your mind, share the truth, and be inspired. If you enjoyed this video and you want more content like this, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel, like this video. I'll be back next week with another one. This is Pastor Frederick. This is about a book, and everything I do is about a book. Peace.